In Module 12, we will be talking about the basics of file handling using PHP. Now, most file handling in PHP is done through uploads, which we will hit on in the next module when we talk about image uploads. In this case, we will be reading from a file and then writing back to that same file, all the while that file will be living on the server. So it's just going to be a text file on the server that we'll read from and write to. And we're going to use a single PHP script that is called a self-submitting form, which means the form action is actually the name of the file that contains the form, so that it just submits back to itself. And we will use PHP scripting at the top of that file to decide what to do with any potential form input. So that same PHP script is going to read from a file, and if we add something to it, we will write it back to that file. So this is what the PHP file looks like, and the text file is just a basic text file, just plain text. This is everything that's in it, no scripting or coding or anything like that, although it technically could contain scripting and coding. You need to be very careful with this because allowing web users to write to a file on the server could be potentially dangerous. So you definitely want to validate and screen for potential malicious script if you're doing this. So this is the template of the file, and you can see here it starts out with an if and else condition that basically says if the form has input, then write that input to the file, and if it doesn't, then read the file and put that into a variable that is then displayed inside the text area down here. So when we run that, the way that's going to look is the first time I run it, I'm going to get this. You can see that the text from the file matches this exactly, and this is actually the file that is being read from. And I get a little message here that said text has been loaded to the file. Now, if I add something to that text and I hit process the text button, it says text has been saved, and I can verify that by looking at that file again, and it adds that immediately back to the text file, even though I didn't have to close it and reopen it or anything inside PHP Storm. So I can do anything I want, and every time I save that, that gets added back to that file. So that is a really convenient way to store data on a server, although you do have to be careful. This is one way that you can save data from potentially a user or something else, some other kind of input or data that you would want to save from a PHP script onto a server. And you can see this round trip self-submitting form is right here like this. And you can see that URL never changes because that form is just self-submitting. And if I delete all of that and just type something short and different and save it, you can see that file is updated. So that is assignment 12 for this week, and it should be pretty simple if you follow the reading for this week.